joining us. Again, Game 6 last night right here in Boston. The Celtics jumped out to the early lead, Monica. They were up 14-2, but the Warriors took that punch and then went nuts.
Yeah, early in the game, it looked like the elimination game stats from the Celtics would prevail, but Steph Curry had an answer. The collective defense of this Warriors squad was just tremendous. Anytime Jason Tatum or Jalen Brown were trying to get to the paint, they were swarmed. You get runouts like that. Woo, celebrate, Steph.
People forget that while the Celtics are the number one defense in the sport this year, the Warriors were too. We always talk about the Splash Brothers and all the threes, but they did it on the defensive end. And then speaking of the Splash Brothers, Kendrick, Steph Curry, all night long.
All night long. Look, when the Celtics tried to make a run, he was right there grinning. I call him the light-skinned brother with the green eyes, but it wasn't just his shooting. Although he shot that one from the parking lot, and then he said, guess what? Beyonce me, put a ring on.
Put a ring on it. Okay, fine.
Aaron Donald did that in the Super Bowl, and then Steph Curry did it in Game 6 last night. Again, more turning defense into offense. Klay Thompson, the celebration moment for him. Again, Draymond Green taking it in after struggles early in the series. He played much better, and then Steph Curry says, let's put him night-night. This one's all over, folks. Steph Curry wins his 4th championship. The embrace with his dad before it's even over. The emotion pouring out of not just him, but all the world champion Warriors when this one was over last night.
What does just this mean to you to finally be a finals MVP after everything?
Forget that. We champs. Why are you starting with that question? We got 4 championships.
Oh, well, he's not. His legacy is not quite this unless he gets that. Like, that's garbage. Still Steph Curry, still an all-time great.
You know, I think he solidified himself today, you know, as not even today, just his career as the best point guard of all time.
All right, so Iguodala's answer is by far the best of that group. And so take a look at the trophy case there. 4 titles, 2 league MVPs, 2 scoring titles, All-Star Game MVP, Finals MVP. The numbers just keep coming. 5th player to win multiple MVPs, a Finals MVP, and a scoring title. Kareem, Jordan, LeBron, and Wilt are the others. But here's why, and I've got Jay Will with us this morning as well here. And if you're just joining us, thank you for getting up here. Wendy is with us in Boston today. Big Perk and Monica are here, and Jay Will takes a moment from KJM. Thank you, Jay Will. Here's the point, and we touched on this at the beginning of the show. The things that were being said or asked about Steph Curry were reasonable at the time, because part of the way you build a legacy is with your accomplishment. With what he did last night, he solidified his place here. So for Draymond to say, well, that wasn't garbage. Those were legitimate questions. And now they are answered once, for all, and forever. Jay Will, how about Steph last night?
But Greeny, you're reasonable. Me as a former player, and Monica and Perk know this, we don't live a reasonable life. There is nothing about, we are the most petty individuals. And one of the things I love about Steph is I think before this year, Perk and Monica, is that, when you would think about Steph, you would think about like holy moly, ABC, right? Steph is the nice guy. But like him counting how many rings he has, counting how many championships he has, putting babies to sleep, him talking trash, what they going to say now? Like, this is the Mamba side of who Stephen Curry really is. He is one of the most petty athletes on. This is going to be the summer of pettiness for the Golden State Warriors. Just get ready for it. And they're going to have a legit chance to run it back next year.
Oh, God.
While I have you here, Jakes, I only have you for a few minutes. Let me ask you just your thoughts on the actual performance, because in previous championships, this team, they had Kevin Durant for 2 of them. The first one, LeBron was playing with a wounded squad. In this one, clearly, without Steph Curry being the best player on the floor, the Warriors had no chance, probably, of winning any games in this series, much less of winning the championship. How about just the performance on the floor these last 2 weeks?
It's prolific for Stephen Curry, and I think it speaks for itself. There's no need for me to even express words on it. But I got to talk to my brother, Big Perk. Yo, the last 2 games, your Celtics just gave them games. I mean, what the hell is going on, Perk? I mean, was Marcus Smart on the floor last night? Did you see the same thing I saw? I mean, I saw a possession where he didn't even run back in the screen to get back after a turnover. I saw some where it was an easy light switch. Go ahead, Al Horford. You take him down the stretch. I mean, what is going on? I am realistically looking at the Celtics, thinking to myself, Perk, thinking to myself about your squad. I'm like, do we need to look at Malcolm Brogdon? Like, do we need to look at making a change at the point guard spot? Like, I don't know what I saw, Perk. Can you help me?
Well, one, why it has to be my squad? I know.
Hold on.
We're not doing that. No. Although I did pick them to win the series, I know I won a championship in Boston. But look, my job, I'm not sitting up here being biased because it's the Celtics. I'm not. No.
Backing up the truck, man. I'm
not backing up the truck because I was ready to come on here and give them the business anyway. Listen,
give them the business.
What happened with Jason Tatum is what he did to Kevin Durant in the first round. He got punked. Andrew Wiggins snatched his soul in this series. And you know what? It's part of the reason on why you should be careful who you train with in the offseason. Listen, both of those guys went through the same trainer at one period of time. Andrew Wiggins was training with the same guy that trains Jason Tatum at this moment. So guess what happens? He knows his tendencies. He's able to sit on his moves. He's able to block his shots. He's able to defend them well. This is what happens when you become so friendly that you want to work out with people in the offseason. But I will say this. The Celtics took for granted a golden opportunity last night. And they kept saying, this is a learning experience. Well, I was on a young Oklahoma City Thunder team. Well, we thought that it was a learning experience. And guess what? Only one of those guys, and Kevin Durant, made it back to the finals with the exception of me, but I didn't play a role. See, Jason Tatum in this series, he had an opportunity to be a Kevin Durant at the age of 23 when he averaged 30 on 55% shooting, or he had the opportunity to be who he was, a James Harden, when he got to the finals with the Oklahoma City Thunder, a guy that completely vanished and completely fell and shied away from the moment.
Oh, no. Have you ever pressed an app on your iPhone and you wait for it, like, come on, man, I pressed the app like 4 minutes ago. And then all of a sudden, after you press it, like 4 minutes later, it goes everywhere. You're like, well, I almost feel like that's the way Jason Tatum was processing things last night. Like, he would turn face, and the move would be there for him to go, but yet he would wait and then jab step. It was like he was overthinking things. Now, look, I firmly believe that Jason Tatum will be better for this overall. But what I've saw from the Boston Celtics the last two games was just, it was a major disappointment because they were slow at processing everything. Look,
the beauty of a morning like this is that we can go wherever we choose. This isn't where we plan to be, but it's a perfectly good place to be, Monica. Let's go there.
Okay.
How about Tatum, who had a nightmare of a series?
Okay, so I just want to offer up this one statistic, Jay, and not that it's an excuse, because at this point everybody is tired, everybody's a little bit banged up. But going into Game 6, he and Jalen Brown had played approximately 200 more minutes than any Golden State Warriors player. So I think fatigue was real in terms of depth that you can trust. I do think fatigue was real. Now, for Jason to be someone who is so vocal about Kobe Bryant being his idol, the Mamba mentality is no excuses. It is not, those last two games are not the first time we saw the Celtics sort of settle for bad shots and the ball tends to stick and it doesn't move anymore. It's something that they kind of dealt with throughout the entire series. The last two games, it was just glaring. They were able to skirt it a little bit. Obviously, Game 1 was terrific.
They dealt with it the entire season. Wendy, let me get everybody in here. Wendy, this is a team that was 29th out of 30 teams in the league in clutch situations, which are defined as a game that is within 5 points in the final 5 minutes. This was nothing new, their struggles late in games. But for Tatum in particular, this is one he's going to have to wear. He's got a long, wonderful career ahead of him and plenty of opportunity to rewrite the story. But I think, Wendy, it's going to be a long summer.
He was tired. I know that you're not allowed to say that you were tired. He was just completely gassed. They played back-to-back 7-game series leading into this. I think I saw something that he had run 10 more miles in the postseason than Steph Curry had. They were relying on him to do so much, and he just ran out of gas. You could see it at the end of Game 5 when he was shooting air balls, and you could see it last night. He didn't have the energy to overcome what was in front of him, and that's, you can say it's some sort of flaw, but it's just reality. And Wiggins got stronger. He was one of the players that got stronger.
Definitely.
The Game 4 in this series, Steph Curry, this Celtics team was so resilient. One of the more resilient teams I've ever covered as I watched them go through this process. But Steph broke them with that Game 4 performance. I didn't think this was a team that could break, but he broke them. And the Warriors got stronger and the Celtics got weaker, and Tatum was a personification of that.
Wendy,
Go ahead, Jay Will. Final thought.
I was going to say, Wendy, as an athlete, I live by this mantra, no damn excuses. And here's what I will say about Jason Tatum being tired. And same with Jalen Brown. You know, in the first multiple possessions of the game, guess where the Celtics had a major advantage? They took all those little dudes with that small lineup and they put them on the block. I wish the Celtics had a maestro, and that's what Marcus Smart should have been, that says, let's continue to play to our strengths instead of playing inside, right? Focusing on inside and then making shots later instead of playing outside in. Like they tried to mirror Golden State. You're going to lose when you try to outscore Golden State from the perimeter. You're going to lose every time.
I don't want to hear anything about being tired. You know why? Because even when they won the Eastern Conference Finals, we heard Jalen Brown and Jason Tatum saying, they said we couldn't do it together. Well, the mission wasn't complete. And by the way, I remember, a 35 or 36-year-old LeBron James in year, 17, leading the team all the way to a championship. So listen, I don't want to hear about being tired.
Cool. Use the
It's about who wanted the
standard.
most.
Sure.
It's about who wanted the most.
I have to let Jay Will go back to KJM Radio on ESPN Radio. Thank you, as always, my man.
Do you? I don't know. I like this conversation right here, Brady.
That's well done. Thank you.